Hello and welcome back to the Level Up podcast. It's episode 16.
Already.
I know. That's awesome.
Times is, yeah, it is actually. Getting more comfortable with this.
So today we're diving into something that touches all of us sooner or later. New beginnings.
Deep dive. Yeah.
Whether it's a fresh start in your career, relationships, or health, or even just a mindset shift, knowing when to begin again and whether you're ready for it can make all the difference. So, if you're ready to get to it, we'll jump in. Okay. So, we're going to do it a little different. We've got a part 1 and a part 2. So part 1, there's 3 questions to know if it's time for a new beginning. So the first question is, am I holding on to something that no longer serves me?
Okay.
So I think that's the starting point.
Well, I think, in terms of, making that determination, there's, I guess, an old saying, you will experience one of two pains, the pain of regret or the pain of fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think with that, most people don't change unless they have to.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to ask yourself, because change is hard on its own. Change is difficult. Change is not easy. Adaptability is not easy.
Yeah. It's easier to stay.
It's easier to
do what you're presently doing.
Well, it's easier to do what you know.
Yeah.
Right? It's easier to basically, follow the status quo. Whatever you're dealing with, you could probably manage rather than going into uncertainty. Mm-hmm. So I think for a lot of people, and situationally, like, there's always going to be, collateral damage for change. Yeah. Even if it's going to eventually pay off, there will be certain folks or certain, things in your path that are just going to, bite it because, you have to do something that's going to benefit you in the unforeseen future. Mm-hmm. Right? So, with that said, going back to, what no longer serves you, I think a lot of people are in situations that don't serve them. Mm-hmm. But because they don't know, maybe a lot of them don't even know what would serve them. Thus changing.
That might be.
Right?
That might be a big factor.
Yeah, absolutely. So then change does not become the quick option.
No, because they have to think everything through.
They have to explore, it's a deep dive.
And maybe there's something else going on in their lives.
Well,
that they don't want to make a change because all the other things that are changing or whatever.
I saw something the other day. I can't remember where I saw it, but it said, you're when you date someone, you're not just dating them. You're dating their past. You're dating everyone they've ever dated. You're dating their childhood. You're dating whatever constitutes getting them to who they are today. And I think the same thing is with, life and determining when it's time to change. Mm-hmm. Everything that we are, is a product of our environment growing up and, where we went to school, our formative years and our friendships and, our relationship with our parents, our spouse, if you have any, our children. So your change is not just based on you. It's based on a whole bunch of different variables and circumstances. So because I think most changes, it comes in as a disruptor, right? You really have to determine whether or not it's feasible in your particular situation to, it's kind of a fight or flight, situation, right? So I think, this is an easy question for you and I because change is easy. We don't, there's no huge impact on any situation or anyone else's life if you decide to change or I decide to change or, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But somebody who is like, they've got the career, they've got the mortgage, they've got the house, they got the kids.
So they've got all that stuff ingrained into them. And it affects their kids depending on what that changes.
Yeah. It's not so easy.
Yeah.
It's not so easy. So, you know, I think, maybe for the purpose of this, podcast or whatever, I think we should basically, sort of just try to look at people who are in situations where they definitely need to, like, the economy is pretty crazy, society is going through a lot of changes, AI is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should look at it like that, and from that perspective, and say, okay, well, are you set to
Are you set up for this?
are you set up for this changing environment? And how long are you going to hold on to the old ways before you realize, what, shift is coming? I see the wave, 100 yards out. I better start doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True.
Because I think ideally, who wouldn't want to basically say do something, better or something, different with their life. But, we have to be realistic in our situations, and some people they're ground in.
Yeah.
There's a foundation in there that's just, it's in bedrock.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, but there's, if things are changing as rapidly as they are, I mean, you look at something like tariffs, right? They destabilize a lot of businesses, a lot of families.
Yep.
We didn't see that coming, and so change was necessary. And I think really that's really what it comes down to, is there's so much coming at us from so many different places right now that change is not an option.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, when are you going to basically take...
When are you going to do something?
When are you going to do something?
When are you going to take action?
When are you going to take action? Yeah. Waiting it out is not an option anymore.
No. Well, I guess it is an option, but you're going to be left behind.
You're going to be definitely left behind.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, one more point on that, though, which is, I've always found this to be, somewhat true about the Canadian system, is that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's almost like a mantra for Canada. They've been doing that for centuries, right? Well, actually, two centuries. But, I don't think we can afford that level of thinking anymore.
No, we don't have that luxury.
We don't have that luxury anymore.
No.
Yeah, no, because we will literally be left behind by the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sort
of, the status quo has been what I experienced most here in this country. Well, the provinces I visited, and it's like, yeah, well, I don't need it. No, I am fine. And we're gonna keep doing it for another year.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing changes, Meanwhile, you have, like, in Africa and all these, other countries, developing countries, there's huge amounts of infrastructure going in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, multi-billion-dollar developments going in that are going to create jobs for, future generations.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's so necessary. You have to basically build the infrastructure so that you could basically exist in this new economic world. I mean, the way everything is, it's interconnected. And, if other countries are basically doing all of this, and then Canada is basically doing what we've always done, who are going to be our potential trade partners for the future? By the time, kids grow up and have kids, this type of system it's out. It's not dated one. It's an antiquated one.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so, yeah.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so question 2. Do you feel more drained than energized on your current path? I guess that's an indicator of if it's time to make a change.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think basically, I didn't really do a deep dive into the thoughts behind this whole thing. I just thought really... Because, I mean, I speak to a lot of business owners every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's predominantly
You're always
my
on
job.
the phone.
And a lot of these people are disheveled. They're worried. They know something needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they
don't know where to start.
They don't know where to start. And so they do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is going to get them in more...
Oh, it's going to be a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bit of a mess. Yeah. So a lot of people that I've noticed here is that they're opting to do nothing, a wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
And you really can't, And that's the one thing, that makes you my perfect business partner, is that you will try anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll just, okay, let's do that. Oh, okay,
so
let's
I'll try
it.
it.
Yeah.
Like the podcast. I wasn't sure how that was all going to go about.
Yeah,
but
you stepped out of your comfort zone, and like you show up.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I show up every day.
Yeah, well,
and so do you.
Well, that was the one thing I saw. This something else I was watching that basically just said 95% of life is just showing up. Something will happen.
Yeah.
Just show up, and basically just do it. Whatever, right?
Yeah. Just
rise to the challenge. Yeah, like just do what you gotta do. Like, you're not gonna have all the answers, but you show up and you don't give up. Right?
Yeah. Have a positive mindset about it.
But I think that's what's needed, sort of at this juncture in Canada, is for, I think, people have to basically start sort of grabbing the reins and actually being more proactive and trying more rather than just continuing with the status quo. I mean, I know systematically the status quo is ingrained into this whole economic and cultural environment, but there is enough sort of wiggle room for people to actually start doing more stuff. I think you have a situation where you don't have a lot of leaders coming up.
No.
Right? Just people who are just like, I need to find a job. Well, who are you going to work for if nobody's creating opportunities? Maybe you should be
the one creating the
opportunities. Right? Yeah. So, there's actually there's a whole deeper subject matter here about, when it comes to attitudes and where we are as a society, that you could have put before this podcast, but we're here now, so
yes,
we showed up.
Yeah.
Okay,
so the next question, the third one, is another indicator could be, have you stopped growing?
Good question. That's a good question. Let's see. I would say not growing, but evolving.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think everybody is sort of growing because, there's so much information coming at us. There's so much change, happening. There's so many dynamics that, our parents would have never seen in their entire life. We've seen so, much evolution that definitely you have to,
constantly
grow. You have to. But I think a better question is, are we evolving? As a culture, are we taking all of these things and are we running with it? So I've had, lots of intelligent conversations with a lot of people, but they tend to basically, while they understand their business to a large extent, they're not willing to take the super duper huge leap into, pushing their industry forward or totally reimagining what it could be. They're waiting for somebody else to do it for them. Right? Because you have such, a stable, established system in Canada that, to be a mover and shaker in any industry, you're up against so much resistance. Even the system itself, the economic system and tax system and the accounting system and the accountability system, they all expect things to be done a certain way.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Let's look at your business. Okay, where does it fit in? How do we categorize you? How do we zone your activity? Oh, you're doing that? That doesn't make sense. Nobody else in your industry is doing that.
Yeah.
So until you actually change that, you're gonna get more of the same. Right? It's got to be. You got to do a deep dive into how things are done, and sort of loosen those reins a bit so people could get creative.
Especially with all the changes that are going to be coming through with more AI involved in the workplace and robots, automated robots, and stuff like that. All that.
Yeah.
People need to figure out a way to work within the new constraint that's coming up.
Yeah. I mean, just out of South Africa, I heard there was this new platform. I think it was called, from that wonderful speaker. I can't remember his name now, but it's called Bodu or something. And I just saw a brief post about it. I think it was on Facebook. And this platform, basically, he was just saying it does absolutely everything.
Oh, yeah.
Everything you can imagine to run your business, from marketing to taxes to this marketing, social media, digital marketing, doing posts, all in one program.
Oh, wow.
Register, like, you just go in there and literally you can create whatever.
You just have to live in that platform.
But the thing is that if that's what's going on there, how is a business that is fragmented, like say in Canada or the States or in other countries, supposed to deal with what they're doing? Because basically they've got a one-stop solution, while if we want to do anything, we have to talk to our accountants, we have to talk to our marketing, we have to
legal, like it's all very disconnected.
So they have the jump on things because they'll be able to look in real time to see how much progress or or changes need to be done or implemented at different, like it's all firing at the same time. And so basically with systems like that in place, it kind of puts us at a bit of a disadvantage as a trade partner. Yeah. Right?
Oh, for sure.
And so all of these things are happening at break speed in these different developing countries. And these could be potentially our trade partners, but if we're still operating in such a slow way, it puts us at a disadvantage. Like, would you basically want to do business with somebody who is still using Word, for document sorting?
No.
You want somebody who's basically got their AI system in place so that we could just literally plug into your network and we're synced. Yeah. So to speak. I mean, I'm speaking sort of philosophically, right? But more or less, you want someone on the same page. Yeah. Right? True. No one's gonna want to come and slow down to the way Canada is doing business or Canada's operating.
Like, they're gonna say, you can come, but you got to step up.
Yeah, you got to step up, right? And I think we as a country really need to step up. Even like there's a postal strike. Yeah. Right.
Which is horrible, like especially for the senior citizens and that generation that's so dependent on it.
But that's exactly what's going on with the Canadian Postal Service, is that it's antiquated. Yeah. And it's losing a lot of money. And so unless they do something to bring it into this technological era,
then it's going to get left behind.
Yeah, well, you can't. You cannot continue to lose money at that level.
No, not at that rate.
Not at that rate. And
that's happening everywhere.
It's happening everywhere. And
like the housing shortages. The housing shortages are everywhere in the world.
Yeah, but here it's worse because they built a ton of high-end condos that Canadians can't afford. And they cut off the foreign investment.
So there's no buyers.
There's no buyers. So the market is basically correcting itself. Yeah. And it's going to basically just continue to plummet. It's at 25% now, I believe, but it's until it totally corrects itself. I don't know where the bottom is going to be, because it literally has to get to a place where Canadians can afford to live in these empty spaces. Yeah. So, I mean, there's all of this stuff that's taking place, and a lot of it basically is not being addressed. I mean, change is good, but somebody has to basically sit down and say, could we possibly maybe turn 50% of these condos into affordable housing in some way?
Or what about the unused office buildings?
Yeah, there's a ton of them.
Could they be retrofitted?
Well, in the States, from what I understand, in a couple of the major capitals like New York and where I think Meta is going, and then in LA, I believe they have a lot of vacant office buildings that they're turning into actual server stations. They're outfitting them because the new AI, generates so much power that they're retrofitting them to basically create data centers. It's stuff that's going to move forward. From those, you're going to create other spin-off industries, other spin-off businesses. This is sort of how we have to start thinking.
Yeah, you have to think differently.
Like, if you could basically figure out a way to incorporate AI into, say, for instance, the Canadian Postal Service, I don't know what that would look like, from a functionality standpoint. It's just a concept, but you could possibly streamline the operation.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
Oh,
there's things that could be streamlined.
Oh, look at the Amazon
I don't
model.
know.
Look at the
I don't
Amazon
know it in
model.
detail or anything.
If you look at the Amazon model in terms of how it works in fulfillment and so forth, I'm sure there's a lot of things they could take from there and basically incorporate it into the mail delivery system.
Yeah.
But again, that takes ingenuity, it takes time, it takes money, it takes development. But at the same token, you'd probably be better off putting the money that you're basically just blowing on it now into reimagining it and then making it sustainable for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Because if you don't, then you're going to continue to bleed money, right? So fundamentally, the question is basically, will you know when it's time to make a change and when it's time to basically, do something else? And it's time. In Canada, it's time.
Yeah, so many things need to change and get cut down or restructured. Reimagined, I guess is the word to put it, so that it functions better.
Absolutely, because if we continue like this, we will definitely
will be the last one.
How do you pick up? It's one thing if you're basically a small economy or a small country, you could always basically, come up with something that is manageable and it benefits the whole society. But when you have like such a large country, and your bread and butter, which is manufacturing, because traditionally, Canada is famous for manufacturing, but tariffs have really it's put a dent in that.
Yeah, and now they put tariffs on the film industry today. 100% tariffs.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't hear that.
So that'll be affect globally.
Well, that'll definitely cripple the Canadian film industry for sure.
Yeah, or the international film.
Globally
global.
they did?
Yeah. They only want, from what I heard, I'd have to go back and check the article, that they're going to put 100% tariff on anything outside of their country.
Oh, wow.
So, everywhere.
Oh,
It'll be a global impact.
Wow. So that's gonna affect every single, industry just by association. So, wow.
Yeah, I gotta go read that article later because glimpses of the highlights, and I was like, what?
Read and let me know.
But it was a busy day, so.
Wow. That's crazy.
Okay. Well, let's move on to part 2.
All right.
Because we've overstayed our time on part 1.
Okay, so let's zip through part 2.
So the 4 questions to know if you're ready for a new beginning. The first one, am I willing to let go of what's comfortable but no longer right? I guess that's a good indication.
Yeah, but I get that, and keep in mind this is actually from chat's sort of perspective. The way we're basically envisioning that is basically that is no longer applicable or doesn't work anymore. I think that's really sort of the way I'm looking at it. When I was thinking about this, it's more of a question of, I don't think you have a choice but to change. I think the question is really what's going to take for you to.
Yeah. What's going to be that
catalyst?
Factor,
what's going to be that final...
Or that trigger that pushes you to change.
The final straw that breaks the camel's back, where you just basically say, okay, you know what?
Enough. That's enough.
Yeah. Got it.
I want to keep my business, or I want to keep what
my
I'm
home,
doing.
And I want to keep my family
So we've got to rejig everything.
Yeah, I think it's getting to that point. I think, sort of that question sort of makes it sound like, you have a choice.
It's optional.
Yeah, but I really don't think many people have a choice today. I think really you literally have to grab the bull by the horns, and you got to go out there and grow a pair. Yeah. Pardon the, expression, but yeah. Okay, what's the next one?
Number 2, do you have a vision, and even if it's not fully clear, of where you want to go? So how do you interpret that?
Yeah, so, well, it's kind of hard to envision something that has never been, right?
Yeah.
What does the future of AI look like, right?
Yeah,
nobody really knows. Like, I don't think many people envisioned today, 5, 6, 7 years ago. If you told people that, this is going to be the situation, I don't think people would have been able to digest. They're like, well, how?
Mm-hmm.
But we're here, right? And then, if you look at what's going on with, humanoid robotics, I mean, I think that's 2 years away where you're going to start seeing them walking around, and you're going to have general conversations with them, and they're going to be healthcare providers, chefs and the mechanics, and, I mean, they're cheaper than humans, right?
They can work 24/7.
You work 24/7.
Maybe 23. Maybe they need to charge.
And not take any breaks, and
and not cause problems.
So, I mean, unless you're basically incorporating all that into your vision, I think it's pretty hard for us, given our, recent, history, I guess, 80, 100, 200 year history of us being in charge. I think it would be very difficult to put an accurate vision together for what the future looks like. Now, with that said, and I don't believe you could basically stop progress. I think it's essential that you actually remain open to it, because evolution is essential for the human spirit to grow. I think we could basically have a foothold in what happens if we start participating. If we're just not sitting back and saying, "Oh, what are they gonna what are they gonna put in front of us next?"
Mm-hmm.
We all have the power to go out there and actually start something.
Yeah.
And I think that's really where this is supposed to go. Is that, are you going to start something, or are you going to have it started for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's that shift.
Where do you want to fit in that equation?
Where do you want to fit in that equation, right? Like, I mean...
And either's fine, I guess, once you make a decision and you go with it.
But even for us, we weren't prepared to start. We had no money. We had no plan. It was just like, I just know what I didn't want.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm not working for anyone, because it's nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a bunch of idiots basically trying to tell me what they don't know. Like,
yeah.
That's a recipe for disaster. You have a finite amount of time on this planet, and with that time, if you could basically apply yourself to something and figure it out, you could actually make the best of that time.
Yeah.
However, if you're just basically following a recipe that has been proven to not work, and basically follow around someone who's probably not questioning why they're even here or what their whole purpose is, you're going to be limited by that person's experience, boss, manager, or owner, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So it's harder to forge your own way, but why wouldn't you?
Yeah. It's way more rewarding.
Way more rewarding, and
you grow a lot more.
Well, the thing is that like, you really have to feel for a lot of the individuals who just graduated and looked for a job, and now these jobs are going away.
Mm-hmm.
They are literally going away, and these people, they're not prepared to do anything for themselves. They've been basically told what to do their entire lives, much like being in prison or being enslaved. And so now you're kind of like, well, why don't you go out and do something on your own? Okay, well, who should I, where do I get the...
Yeah.
No,
who do I talk to?
Who do I talk to? Yeah. Is there an HR for that? No. You're your own HR. You've got to figure it out. So, for me, it was hard, but it was scarier. And, I'd like to say I'm that clairvoyant and bright that I could have seen this, and this is why I did and we did what we did. But that's not the case. The case was that, for me, it was scarier to be back there and basically simply just rely on a system that I didn't have any hand in creating.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Okay.
All right. What's the last question?
Oh, no, we got two more, so we'll just go over them briefly. So, are you prepared to embrace uncertainty? So, I think we've already somewhat tapped into that, because you have no choice. So you gotta
podcast. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you gotta do something. Yeah. And do you trust yourself enough to figure out things along the way?
Oh, I only trust myself, so there you go. Yeah. I have absolute faith in myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I trust myself enough to know that there's no guarantees in this life, and that if you don't actually do the time and take the time to actually go and try to figure things out for yourself, there's nobody who's going to be able to do it for you. Right? And I've been gifted with, a lot of mental strength and intelligence. So fortunately, I could figure it out for me, and I know you could figure it out for yourself. You're super smart. That's probably, why we get along so well, is that we're able to basically rationalize when it's important to rationalize and make sense of things.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to add before I...
Well, I just want to say this, basically. I think the last thing I want to say is that in life, I think we're given many options, and you have the power to always choose what you want to do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, and I strongly believe this, is that you, from what I understand, we have one life, right? And so how are you going to spend your time? Basically just literally not making a difference, going through the motions, and never basically discovering what your full potential could be, or going out there and, you might fail. That's scary. But, at the end of the day,
you'll still be okay.
You'll still be okay because
you'll still be alive.
Yeah.
Just pick yourself up.
Well, it's funny because on that note, I think about the animals. I think about, because the bunnies, and you think basically if we didn't come along, because they were babies, they literally were babies, right? And nobody seemed to want to do anything for them. If they had gotten past the small stage, they'd figure it out there.
Yeah, they'd have no choice.
And so to us, if like we are afraid of going out into the world and figuring it out, you know what I mean? Like, the world is basically, it's what you make of it. Like, you have senses and stuff that develop, and there's no reason to be afraid and to go out there and,
just try if there's something that's inspiring you or making you think.
Yeah, we have a bunch of senses.
You might as well.
we have unexplored senses we don't use, spiritual senses, intuitive senses, intuition, all of that. That's meant to take us through the path, but instead, most of us, what we do is we follow this sort of societal guideline of,
the little
box, right? That's not going to save you in difficult times, but you do have stuff you could draw on if you're brave enough to step out of the box. So yeah, that's all I want to say. You got it in you, just use it. Don't be afraid, don't be scared, don't be scared.
Exactly. So thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks guys, whoever sees this.
Level Up Podcast.
Number 16.
Wow. So if this episode spoke to you, hopefully it did.
Yeah.
Maybe it's your sign that a new beginning is closer than you think.
Yeah.
So until next time, take the leap, trust yourself, and start fresh. And if you did like it, please share this with your friends or acquaintances.
Please like and comment.
And we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.